Yesterday, SES dropped the first gameplay reveal trailer for MLB The Show 25. In this trailer, we got confirmation that college baseball will be debuting this season as a part of the Road to the Show experience. Along with the beautiful sound of metal bats, we also saw 8 universities get confirmed for the feature's inaugural season. Those 8 teams are shown on screen now, and between them, they hold 23 College World Series titles and well over 50 players on pro rosters currently, with major names like Matt Chapman, Garrett Cole, Walker Buehler, Christian Walker, Paul Skeens, and many, many more. It was obvious big college baseball brands would be chosen, but personally, only 8 teams seems like a small grouping for the game. So today I wanted to try to predict what teams, if any, are yet to be confirmed for this year's game. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like below so that I and the algorithm know that you enjoyed this content and we can push more to you all. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing first, we need to do 2 things before deciphering the teams that SES may have left out. 1 is to define the criteria for which the teams were probably chosen, and 2, we need to estimate the amount of teams SES would have settled on, assuming it's more than the 8 shown. So for the first one, we can go about this one of 2 ways. We could mathematically calculate the success coefficient of the teams shown and find similar teams that fit the bill that we could predict for this year's game. Or the second way, and the way I chose to do, is to look at the current top professional players that went to college and identify which colleges and universities those players went to and choose those. I chose the second route as a while back we got the info that SES may be doing a round of college series baseball cards for the players in this year's Diamond Dynasty mode. And if that is to be believed, then they would probably want their top players getting those cards for the game mode, which leads us directly into how many teams I think there will be. There should be another 8 universities not included in this year's game so far. I got to this by looking at the top players, like I said, but also the amount of cards SES drops with each new card style, such as the action figure set they released last year and the other sets like Future Stars. And 8 more just felt right. You can have a ton of variety with these 16 teams in terms of where to go and the teams you face in playing in the College World Series. So after looking at all of this, let's go ahead and get into our list. Before we get into the 8 I feel like we featured, there is an honorable mention. These 3 teams missed a cut just barely, but I could see them being in one of the first teams added in the future iterations, or a team that may be coming later on in the cycle. And of those teams, the first one is going to be the USC Trojans. This is mostly due to the fact they hold the most College World Series titles at 11, but haven't been successful since the 90s. Next up, we have Oregon, which is another good option with the Nike brand having a massive tie there, as well as a handful of big leaguers like Tyler Anderson and Spencer Steer calling that place home. It would be a no-brainer to add them if they aren't already in this year's game. And lastly, UNC, mostly due to the stardom of Zach Gallen. With SES always giving love to top pitching talent, it would make sense they would want to make a card for one of their better pitchers in today's game. And now we head into the list, but I will mention one last thing. This list has no order into it. It was just how it fell when I was writing the script, so keep that in mind. First up, we have Louisville, with the University of Louisville having 5 College World Series appearances and multiple alumni such as Will Smith and Bobby Miller of the Dodgers, among others like Adam Duvall and Reed Detmers. The Cardinals are a top college team and should be featured in this year's game. These next 2 don't have a star power of some other programs on this list, but they have had recent string of success as well as some top prospects that just came into the game in the last few years. The first of these is going to be Oregon State, and like I've just mentioned, they have had recent success with 3 titles in the last 20 years, as well as Travis Benzana going first overall in last year's draft, and they just feel like a shoe-in to me. And the other half of the equation would be the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Having a little less national success, the Deacons have been owning the ACC the past few seasons. Again, they have had top prospects in Rhett Lauder, and also with 3 players being drafted in the top 10 in last year's draft. They also have Gavin Sheets as an alumnus as well. They would also be right at home with these other schools. Hitting the 4th spot on this list, I would slot in Florida State as another team I envision debuting this year. The Seminoles have a few MLB players in their alumni catalog, with players like Luke Weaver and Cal Riley being there that strengthens their case. FSU is also arguably one of the bigger brands in collegiate baseball and have been a mainstay in the College World Series year after year. And moving past the halfway point, we have the FSU's rival in the Florida Gators, boasting multiple big names in recent MLB news in Harrison Bader and Wyatt Langford. They also have an aspiring 2-way player in Jack Caglione that was drafted in this first round of last year's draft. With the hype around 2-way players and already successful big leaguers, the Gators make this list. With big names like Hunter Renfroe, Adam Frazier, and Brent Rooker in your alumni catalog, the Mississippi State Bulldogs have a solid case to be another team showcased in this year of the show. Along with this, the Bulldogs have 12 title appearances and won their very first one in 2021, so being a hot team with big names gives them a very good chance of being featured. And coming to our last two spots, I have the Razorbacks of Arkansas making this list here. Arkansas is always a big player in the College World Series, and boasting big leaguers Andrew Benintendi and Drew Smiley to their school, it would make a ton of sense to me that they also get in as one of the 16 teams featured. And last but not least, we have Texas A&M as our final team we think will be in this year's game, boasting a lot of great pitching talent like Michael Waka, AJ Minter, and Brooks Raley, and a top prospect in Braden Montgomery. A&M feels just like a good team that can finish us off here and round out these 16 teams that should be featured. And with that, that is it for me. What are y'all's thoughts on the list? Did I miss any teams? Or do you think we are only getting the 8 teams they revealed the other day? Let me know down below what you all think. I appreciate y'all tuning in and sticking around with us. If you all want to see more up-to-date content, be sure to hit that subscription button on your way out. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And a huge shout out to Chris, our very first premium channel member. Thanks for all your support, man. It's really appreciated.